My name is Ugochukwu Steve Ubah, popularly known as Ugo Pluto. Okay, so that's my nickname. And some people ask me like Pluto. I got that name when I was in JSS3. Actually, you know, uh, then in the class, we were having integrated science, and then our then teacher asked the question like, what planet happened to be the last planet? And amongst all in the class, I rose up there to giving the right answer, Pluto. And he was like, "Are you sure it's Pluto?" I said, "It's Pluto." And then a round of applause and all of that, and then from there, everybody Pluto. I'm from Imo State, okay, Owerri West to be precise, Okuku community, yeah, in Imo State, Nigeria to be precise. So that's a bit about myself. I am married to Stephanie Ogonna Ubah. I have 3 kids. My first son is 4 years old right now. His name is Great Ugwezi. The second one is Hero Ugwamaka. Of course, the third one is Ugochukwu Junior Fortune. So 3 lovely boys, and they give me joy. I think family has been so amazing, because sometimes I could remember way back when you talk about family, I get so like distraught, like how would I be with one woman? You understand what I'm saying? Like the usual thoughts about young men, but then I think nature took a big toll about that, and today I think I'm a proud father, and a husband. So I'm so happy about that. Very very delighted seeing my children, seeing my wife, and all of that, and doing things. I think it's so amazing, being on that status as a married man and a father. Yeah.
Okay. Before now, how was life? Work, life, and everything.
Yeah, I think it has been all through pains and gains. Okay, of course, before you start gaining, you need to undergo some sort of rigorous process in life. Just like when you plant a seed, it gets to the ground, it gets rotten, and then some biological process occurs, and then it germinates and all of that. You start getting the plant, and it becomes very important to nature. Okay, so it is with my life. Okay, all what I'm doing right now, I started all the way from Lagos. I've developed serious passion, for showbiz related matters. I could remember those days in Lagos when I was much younger. When I watch the TV and see some kind of graphical representation, I feel like, how did they achieve this? I just love the TV stuff, and it's so reflected. And but the whole turn, everything took turn in 2003. Okay, I think that was when I left secondary school, and I happened to engage myself with the then Menard Broadcasting International, owned by Senator Mike Ajebu. Okay, it's TV station, then a private TV station at Ladipo, Lagos. And then that was where I got a rub of the post production, like the editing stuff, newscasting stuff. I could remember Adobe, Jude. They're all in the US right now, doing good for themselves. And I got a rub off of it, and that was how I decided to know more about the media industry, the electronic industry per se, as a casual worker anyway. Okay, so Menard Broadcast International did the magic. So it has been, from one stage to the other. But I think that was the nexus, into what I'm doing today as it stands. Okay, very interesting. Having to do with the fact that I was born and brought up in Lagos, Ikeja to be precise. Grew up in Owerri State, schooled in Owerri State Grammar, in Owerri State Primary School, Owerri State Grammar School, all in the suburb of Ocean, the suburb local government area of Lagos. Okay, most of you would be so interested to hear this. Yeah, I was supposed to be a lawyer. Okay, I was supposed to study law at the University of Ibadan, but due to cut-off mark, I couldn't, gain admission into University of Ibadan. So I had to come back to Lagos. I was so frustrated. So I got admission into Lagos City Polytechnic, where I studied business administrations and business administration and management, but I couldn't finish. I lost focus in a way. Yeah, I lost focus because that was my, though I had my ND, but then I was supposed to proceed to my HND, but I lost focus in the sense that I was so I don't know how to put it. I got so full of myself, like being in school, hanging with the big boys, doing the rugged things, if you know what I'm saying. And I wasn't taking my studies very serious like that. Then got a girlfriend, got out dating, then you're so surprised, right? Then got so confused, and she was like the only daughter of my father. Like, man, if you do this, if you put me in this state, my father is going to kill you, a military man. And then she was like, what are we going to do about this? And I was like, okay, fine. Do you know something? I did something very stupid, but then I was all in the sense of love anyway. I had to use my school fees given to me by my father, my late father, to do some kind of anyway, just to make her feel happy. You understand what I'm saying? And that truncated that, my school at that point in time. So my father was like, go further. Why are you not going further? Not knowing that I used the money to, like, my girlfriend issue and all of that. So till today we still communicate. She's married. She has 3 daughters right now. We still talk once in a while. She still recall those ugly moments where I say. But then that was it. So what I'm trying to say is that the be focused. As a student, you have to be focused, knowing what you're doing, and not be distracted, because when you get distracted, hence you have someone that is paying your fees and all of that. It's going to be so cumbersome for you. So I think at that point I had to struggle, because though I had a loving father then that listened to me. I told him that, okay, fine, let me go to PEFTI, okay, the Pencils Films and Television Institute, in Owerri State, and he loved it. And I told him, I said, Dad, look, if you grant me this, I bet you all my life I will ensure I get my degree, on my own. I wouldn't depend on you. Just do this one more thing for me, So I had to go to PEFTI, got a diploma in TV productions and post productions, right? That was in 2027, 28 respectively. I think that I just really thank my dad for that, for being a listening father, But I didn't tell him what happened then. It was so mysterious to him. Like, why would you just like opt out because I'm brilliant, okay? So, but I didn't tell him the truth. I just have to say it right now to the hearing of the world. Now look at what happened, and then for you to learn to be very serious and not be distracted when you're pursuing your goals in life. So that was my nexus to PEFTI, and that propelled me into the industry, because I ended up coming out with a very good grade in TV productions, and also in video editing, and that got me into Nollywood actually. I had to like work with Fidelis Duca, the renowned Fidelis Duca, the renowned film producer, as his personal video editor at Lagos, Akoka to be precise, St. Finbar's College Road, okay, Far Production. So there I edited Girls Next Door, which was trending in Lagos way back. I was the first person that edited that episode, and the first child reality show, Kids Alone. I was the first editor under the stable of Fidelis Duca, okay, Far Productions. So that's how that's how it's been. Now going back to the question, because it led me to Owerri. At the point I was doing my thing, I did my industrial training with African Independent Television, AIT, Alagbado, Lagos. That was in 2009. Okay, so and then I worked with Igwemo Ayeni of Entertainment News. So and happened to be a personal video editor then. At the point I wanted to go into film production, but because I was just coming up, it was very cumbersome for me as a beginner. I have other great men and women in AIT doing big things. So the system couldn't absorb me somehow. So I actually wanted a place that I would thrive. And I thought to myself, like, how and where would that be? So I started thinking about Imo State. AIT as an entity, as a broadcasting entity, I couldn't really fit in because I was just starting up. So there's a couple of programs I made then I produced didn't really hit the airwaves. So I started thinking about a place I would come that I would add value. So then I had to start thinking Imo State. And that was during the time of the then governor of Imo State, Ike Hakim. So then I got in touch with him through email, and then I had to send him a mail then that I would like to come to Imo State to train some people or some youths in the area of post productions. And funny enough, he replied. I was so elated. Like, he replied. So he referred me to the commissioner of information then, information and strategy, which was then Honorable Kelechi Paleke. So I got to Imo State, went to the government house. From the government house, and that was the first time I met him actually. Then from there, met with the commissioner of information, then Honorable Kelechi Paleke, and then he told me, to drop my proposal, which I did. So that was how I came into Imo State actually. Then while I was in Imo State, my then colleague, or let me say my then classmate in Pefti, who happened to be Chopinson, is a popular music video director, was like, "Are you in Imo State right now? The proximity from Imo State to Port Harcourt is just so close. Why don't you come to my studio in Port Harcourt at Waterlines, and then let's just do one or two things." So I took my chance as well to like go to Port Harcourt then, and then we were shooting together in Port Harcourt. We shot the video of Lamini. We rode with Duncan Mighty then, Maxi, some Port Harcourt artists then, and we worked with them. And then I was shot in between Imo State and Port Harcourt.
In political science and education, Auburn campus, University of Nigeria, Auburn campus. Okay, and I think this particular one I talked about, I achieved it. It was due to resilience, being a married man, being a father, a husband, and still blending into school. It's not very easy as such. I just had to fulfill that because coming in my background, I have 7 siblings, I have 6 siblings, and they're all graduates. So I was like, I'm the first. So I felt like, though I have lower certificates, that it's very imperative for me to balance it up, to show that I have that I have a degree, and also to help me further anything that I pursue. So that was the reason why I had to. But not easy at all, but by the grace of God, I think I was able to attain it.
According to you call it a lower certificate or whatever. As at that time, I've known you for a while now. You sound better than most people with doctorate degrees. How come? What was the build-up to that effect?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it has to do with personal development. I would say that as an individual, I read wide, and I tended to expose myself to various things, like made up my mind to learn. You understand? It has to do with reading most times. When you read, they say readers are leaders. When you read, you get some kind of education. Even if you're in the 4 walls of the class, if you don't read, you will still don't achieve anything. Yeah, no matter how the course you're doing or whatever you want to study, you still need to read to get those things, mentally ingested into you for you to use to apply whatever you're doing. So it is outside the wall of the class. If you're a reader, definitely you still get some kind of education. Education shouldn't only be in the 4 walls of the class. You can even where we are right now, I can learn one thing from you, you can learn from me. So that was how I was able. But Then Christ Embassy helped me. Christ Embassy, I could remember then in Lagos, when they made me a cell leader or something like that, where you address people, do all of these things, all of that. So you see that sometimes you're heading people with master, with masters and all of that. So it will dawn on you to like
Get yourself upgraded so that you wouldn't just disappoint yourself and those people that are looking up to you. So stuff like that.
Entertainment then and now. Wait. Entertainment then and now. And how do you see yourself now? And how do you see yourself in the future? It's 4 questions in one.
Entertainment then, well, I saw it evolving anyway from Lagos then and all of that. It wasn't that lucrative, but we saw passion, taking leading the way. Passion then when LD and the rest were doing it. I mean from Lagos, even Kelly Handsome, from Imo State. These guys were, of course, everything they were doing then was actually passion. But today, the entertainment industry has really waxed strong, and still getting stronger because we're beginning to see things, happening away from the norm, endorsements. Of course, we have platforms like streaming platforms where you can make money, unlike the way it was then. We have the YouTubes, we have several channels whereby you can just put up something, content, and then you get something from it. So I think the mode of gaining something economically, the entertainment, it has this expanse, unlike the way it is. So I think it's better now. But in terms of the mental aspects, then it was better because people do entertainment then, with passion. You hear somebody then, like 2003, 2000, in the 2000s, they will tell you that I'm just doing music for the passion of it. But today people will tell you, man, I want to get a rubber. I just want to make the money, So it's all about money now. But that's the disparity, I would say. Then was passion. Now it's just like hitting it big, make the money, and
How far do you see your exposure and experience now? And how are you putting it into practice?
IBC has really helped. Let me start because if you talk, I can't talk about my experience now or what I've attained right now without talking about IBC because IBC played a big role. Gave me a platform to express myself. Though there were some kind of challenges, individual challenges, pettiness, jealousy, wickedness, uncalled wickedness. I'm telling you because let me just talk about this, from experience, when you go to the Western world, and you exhibit some kind of talent, they embrace you. Even they would even look for a way to like absorb into their system, keep you, utilize you for the benefit of themselves, economy, and everything. But this part of the world is not like that. There is this element of rat race. Rat race in the sense that you are in an office, you have the potentials, you can deliver, and then your boss feels so threatened with your prowess, what you can do, and then they bring out some kind of policies that will affect you, whereby when you tend to do it the way you're doing it that people love, then it goes against the norms, so to say, and then they ask you, and from there you lose it all. That is what I've experienced so far. That's why I said good experience, because it made me grounded. It made me to face the future. It made me to understand people that irrespective of what you're chasing in life, there will always be people that would want to kick against it. There are people that want to suppress what you want to do. They will just come for you. They will gang up against you. And it's very, very unfortunate that it's happening in the station which I love, IBC. I just have to say this. Let me just say it. I just think IBC is a very good station, because people that you notice something that people that leave IBC to other stations, they excel.
Yeah.
But in a station itself, if you're not strong mentally, spiritually, physically, you can't exist. I'm not saying this to castigate. I'm talking from my experience. And to pave the way forward, I think the government should look into IBC itself. I would think there should be a total overhaul. There should. If our dear station, because IBC belongs to you and I, Imo State Broadcasting Corporation. So it's so painful that the station is going so moribund and things are not happening the way it is. Those that are supposed to be on air are being posted to another department. A man like Emmanuel Oswala that is renowned on radio. People know, people love his program and everything. And one day he told me that because of a mistake he made, of course, if you're an individual, you're about to make a mistake. But if you're a leader, you need to correct that situation and then make the person a better person. But then taking the person, somebody that you know, that when it's on radio, people tend to listen. People just want to tune in. And because you feel you have this personal grievance with him, then you take him to another department, to the detriment of the listeners. You're not helping the station. That's what we're saying. You're not helping the station. People will just tune in and they're looking for Emmanuel Oswala. And they can't hear the voice of Emmanuel Oswala. And then they're like, this guy's no longer on radio. And totally you've lost one person. Now we're not talking about just Emmanuel Oswala, we're talking about other persons that were in the same situation. And now every on-air personality tend to have tend to have a fan base. You may not like what Pluto is doing, but millions of people out there may like what he is doing. So when you now bring your own sentiment, like you don't like what I'm doing because you're my boss, you're depriving people from enjoying what Pluto does. That is the situation in IBC today, which I think the Honorary Commissioner should look into and the governor, so that IBC will not just fall. A whole lot is going on. It's not everything I'll say on camera right now, but I think it should be looked into. Do you know that I worked with IBC for 5 years without salary? So ridiculous. Between 2014 to 2018, what happened? Some people went to instigate that, he alongside 3 other persons were ghost workers. Okay, ghost workers, right? Sack them, you people refused. Okay, stop them from working, you people refused. These persons were still working. Myself, Emmanuel Oswala, Ugochukwu, and Esther Iwagu, these 4 persons were all working. Letter of promotion, even when they were not receiving salary. These affected persons were still being given a salary increment, but there's no justification of those money. Then you have to ask yourself, if these people are really out of the system of ghost workers, why are they still receiving these documents? Then you now notice that somebody is behind collecting those money and now claiming that they are ghost workers, that we were ghost workers. So everything we did then, we had to write to the several commissioners, the PAMSEC. We had to go to offices. We even had to meet with Deputy Governor of Imo State, Ezemadumere then, on our issue, to no avail. We had to start petitioning. We had to start writing until integrated into the system. That was in 2018 September. So now we're talking about the victimization. Up to now, myself and the affected, the affected person are yet to be, paying those arrears. Now, amongst all this, how could you start a program? You start a program is thriving. People tend to start liking the program, and then all of a sudden, because you feel the person is getting popular, you stop the program. Several things like this happening, and you just start wondering what the hell is happening. So it's quite unfortunate. That things like this are happening. I wouldn't want to start mentioning names, but I think with your tongue, you can count your teeth. You will know who I'm talking about. If you X-ray in that entity, that you will know who I'm talking about. Honestly, I think it's It's not just so good. You know, a whole lot has to be done to reviving Imo State Broadcasting Corporation as it stands. Else, it will just fall. It will just collapse because no programming. You don't. Okay, you're laying off your workers. You're laying off your workers. Then if you're laying off your workers, who will now bring out the content that people will listen? If you lay off workers, how would the workers you have in house cope? Because normally the system of IBC, people walk around, even in the time of, like, let me say in unitide and everything, people still work. You know, so there's always shift, which means you're subjecting people to work more than their pay, forgetting that there is health cases, forgetting that there is life. When you overstress the body, the person will just like die or fall sick or so. So these things are not being put into consideration. You overwork people, you lay off people, and you say there's no money. Why then meet the government, let them pay the workers now? If you say you have ad hoc workers, then why can't you pay them? If the internal generated revenue can't take care of the workers, then you reach out to the government. Provided the work should be going on, then they pay them. Than laying them off that they can't work, then you're subjecting others that are there, overworking them, and at the end of the day, nothing.
Okay, now I want to come back to what we were saying earlier, that your experiences, Lagos, is that challenges then and today, what was it like?
Challenges. Of course, now challenge.
In the industry, in the music industry, the video editing industry, technology, software.
Then the challenges is that given to the fact that we're in Imo State, you know, it can't be compared to Lagos. I think Imo State, Imo State tend to have the potential to become one of the greatest states in Nigeria and all of that, you know. But what is actually killing this region is the rural urban drift, you know, and the fact that most graduates tend not to have something doing, so they tend to go out for greener pastures, you know. They're so enormous, you know, then and now. Like I said, or I keep saying, nothing good comes easy. And anyone that exists in this life, and you say you rule out challenges, then you know that you're not ready for the challenge at all, or the task ahead, because it was not an easy road. So on my own part, it wasn't that easy as such. Talking about the post-production aspect, like I said, you know, when I got a rubber for feet from Minaj Broadcast International in Lagos at Ladipo, it was just linear editing, where they use video tapes and all of that, you know. But today we have much easier stuff. Yeah, so then the challenges, the chances were not much, you know. But on my own part, I needed to create the chance, and for you to create the chance, you need to develop yourself. You know, self-development. You know, you shouldn't just. I didn't just relax. Like, okay, the things I've learned, you know, from Pepsi, so to say. You know, I had to like develop myself, learn certain things that are trending, just to be in the line of trend, and then make myself better. But then there are still challenges. For every level you are, there are still challenges. You know, so it's something that is just there. It's continuous. Just for you to you know, bear it in mind and get better. You know, and ready for the challenge. That's it. So there will always be challenges. Even if you're the richest man in the world, there will be challenges. The rich also cry. So it's not an easy road sometimes. You know, so one just need to get better, prepare yourself for opportunities, so that when opportunities come, you just get a hold of it, you know, and not like the foolish virgins that they didn't prepare, for their master and all of that, and when their master came, the oil in the lamp was already empty, and they wonder out a lamp was still lit. You follow the master, something like that. So what I'm trying to say is that for every individual, irrespective of the challenges, just get yourself acquainted to what you need to know for opportunity, because it comes once. It can even come again. But how far would you be ready to take a hold of it and then make yourself a better person?
Okay, sir. With all these things, what do you think are the remedies to problems in the industry in Nigeria?
So numerous. There is no problem without solution. In entertainment, let me leverage in Imo State. I think we should, like, I was listening to Orient brother this morning, and I noticed something that Warrior himself, before you know it, he will mention Owerri, 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 Owerri. Do you understand? So one man said that Warrior sold the Owerri brand, and I think that is true. Ofo Owerri, KK Owerri. You know what I'm saying? So I think some of us are no longer doing that which we used to do. We're now like kind of, everybody just want to be like Last Gidi, Lagos, and all of that. So that has made things change. That has made the development in the area of entertainment, to go moribund. And for we to get things on track, we need to start projecting that brand. I'm talking about entertainers right now, becoming proud of themselves, becoming ambassadors of where they represent. I give a big shout out to people like UC Flames. Of course, Prime was this something one time, got a gang, like, reflecting where you come from. When you do exceptional things and you mention where you come from, people will really connect with your environment, and you're making your industry. That's how you make your industry become lucrative. It becomes attractive. People want to connect to that environment because you're excelling, and then because you're excelling, that brand, that name, that area you're projecting is technically selling. So if entertainers can start embracing that, that'll be very good. Now, talking about the electronic media, I think we've really thrived so far. Because if you look into Imo State right now, we have a couple of stations, like 15 private stations. If you remove IBC, or more, and more are still springing up. In the three cardinal points of Imo State. I think it's something good to write home about. But I think some of the bottlenecks we have about the radio industry today, or the electronic media industry, is that some of the people that establish the stations are politicians. They tend to want to use it primarily for propaganda. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like somebody that doesn't like IBC, for instance, for example, that wouldn't want to, that would feel like, okay, because Uzodinma is in charge, I wouldn't want to, let me air my view. It's okay, I have a couple of naira in millions, let me go open my station. So now some of them are opening these stations without focus, without vision. Like I remember in 2007, then Senator Mike Ajibu, there's an Anambra man, a senator then, was being interviewed. He's the owner of Naj Broadcast International. He was asked a question. He said, at the point when he established the station, then he was like, okay, people should start. And then the programs manager was like, we need content. You understand? Now just check the mentality. He just established a station and like, hey, you guys should just start. Then the question was, what are we going to put on air? And all of that. So now we're talking about content. We're talking about things that people will watch and all of that. So most of these people lose focus about these things. So the primary objective is like, let them just have a station to promote their propaganda, forgetting that even if you want to put your thing, you want to put your own ideology out, it wouldn't just be your own ideology. Definitely you have content that will sustain the station, that can make people sit down and listen to what you have. So that's where the area of content come in. That's number one. Then another part of it is the area of personnel management. Okay, because if you're talking about personnel management, it means you need people that will work there And if for people to work there, you need to pay them. So from the look of things, there's no background check about how to pay these guys. Then at the end of the day, start giving them peanuts. It's so unfortunate that in Imo State, the electronic media industry, I mean, the personnel, the staff, the workers do exceedingly well, but it doesn't justify the pay. Why? Because there's no structure for it. If there's structure for you to put up a station and that you want to build up a brand, you want to have people to work and all of that, if your core interest is to really serve the people, you know, you yourself that is establishing a station, no, you can't do the job. Definitely you need people to do the job, and you should be ready to pay them, because these people will have families, and this thing plays with the psychology. How can you expect somebody that has not eaten to go and work? But that's the unfortunate situation we're having. We have several lovely voices on the airspace, but very sad behind the microphone. That's the bad part of it. They wouldn't tell you. So somebody will be working 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, they not pay and still they work.
Okay, so are you saying
so disheartening.
Are you saying we should change the admins or people who are working for the radio stations, or we should look into if we are going to be employing more of experienced and qualifications?
Yes, I like that question. But before I answer that question, first let the owner start understanding that the media is not all about them. It's all about the people. That's number one. If they can get that ideology right, then they will not start putting square pegs in square holes. They will not start getting the right personnel. They will not start striving for excellence. And when you're striving for excellence, you'll get the best hands. And of course, when you get the best hands, you'll be ready to pay. So it comes from the ideology itself. The ideology of the owner of the station, because he is the visionary, he should be visionary. If he can get things right from let's say that he has gotten it wrong, but if you can still go back to the drawing board, getting it right, like getting the right thinking, things will start getting better. Not necessarily that you must get the best hand 100%, because sometimes you may not be able to pay them, but you can still train some people that are very interested, homegrown. Give them the opportunity to shine. Then when you give them the opportunity to shine, don't use them. Because that's what is happening today. Is like most of these bosses are capitalizing on the fact that job no day and no work now, underemployment. They capitalize on the fact that we have less jobs, so they feel like they can pay you anything. You have no choice. That's wickedness. I call it wickedness, because you should be justifying this. See, the conscience itself should be playing a big role here. If, for instance, I have a station, I should be thinking that my staff obviously have a family. They have bills to pay. And if I have the mind to employ their services exclusively for me, why shouldn't I give them something that will make them comfortable, something that will make them stay? But because we have less jobs or less job opportunities, everything, then they use it as an opportunity. Then you see somebody doing exceedingly well, you will give the person 20,000, 15,000. So disheartening. So I think your question, what you just said right now, starts from the owner, how visionary the person is. You see, like a station like Channels Television, John Momo, for instance. You see how Channels is. That man is a seasoned broadcaster. So he has sold that ideology. He has sold that ideology into his staff. So you see the staff of Channels TV. You see how they are. They do their thing in pride. With like, you see, like this finesse. You understand? Like this finesse about them. Why? Because the owner, who happens to be John Momo, the CEO of Channels, has sold that idea, that ideology. It has gone into them. So they are running with that vision now. So it starts from the head of the station, the owner of the station. The betterment of the media entity in Imo State per se starts from the owner, not even from the staff. from the owners. If they can get it right, it will transcend to every activity of the station, and everything will be right.
Okay, let's go back to our hometown, which is Owerri. Do you think what are the causes of radio staffs moving from one station to station, individuals moving from station to station?
Yeah, it's currently happening. Is currently happening. I think number one is mismanagement. You understand? Human beings naturally, if you look at industrial psychology, you opt for where we pay you, where more advantageous to you. So what is causing it actually is like lack of welfare and all of that, or maybe some pettiness. There is this mentality about Africa. There is this mentality about Africa, so disheartening. If a Igbo man employ you for a year now, if you're a car wash, as in if you wash cars, they will respect you for that job you're doing and they will pay you accordingly. But it's not like that in Nigeria, and that's the reason why we're having problem. Everybody want to everybody. That's why everybody is going to school. Even Olodo self want go school. Olodo we're supposed to go learn work, sabi one craft. They want go school. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everybody is just like certificate crazy right now, and that thing is really affecting the system. At the end of the day, we're getting mediocre everywhere. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is the problem. When you're not being treated well, definitely you go to a better place now, a place that pays you. But the funny part of that of Imo State is that place where they wrong go self get their own problem. That is the reason why Imo State itself needs this industrial revolution.
So is it the pay that is the problem, or they don't allow you to express yourself anymore?
The pain, even from my observation, it's not even the pay again, because most honest personalities have side hustle. They have businesses. Like I have my own hustle, paying well. Before even say my income self a year self, so I don't even see the pay of my account. I know they see them. I have my own side hustle. I'm into properties, I have my own studio, like Emmanuel Soala has his own business, and still does the radio thing. So most honest personalities in Imo State have their own side hustle. So they're not looking at the money. But what about this is psychology, the way you treat people at times. For instance, now, let me give you one example. Like let me say you're a cameraman. You're very prolific at it. You can do it very well. You're very dynamic in everything you do. But you have an ND. Now we have man 2. He has masters probably, but he doesn't know how to handle the camera. He doesn't know anything. Now, you people come into the system. You see the failure of the managerial people. Instead of them to leverage on capacity that the man with ND can deliver, they will not start looking at certificate now. This one has masters. This one has ND. But this one will get masters now. Sabi the work. They will not put this one above the one that has ND. And you know the job. This one will not be superseding over like do it like this, do it like this. And when you say no, it's like this. He says you're rebellious. He reports you. They query you. They frustrate you, and then tomorrow you leave. That is what is happening today. As I tell you, guys, can I so it will be. So that's the African mentality. And sometimes I wonder, people need to start traveling out and going to places and seeing how things are happening. That's why I like white people, the Westerners. They respect what you can deliver. They will ask you, what can you do? What can you do? Okay, they will try you out. If you do it, you have the job. And they pay you accordingly. They don't even look at your certificate. But it's in this our own place and a certificate. That's the reason why we are not growing. You will see somebody that is fit to be in a position, you won't put the person there. You go and put one person that will be doing jagaban, and that one will not be affecting everybody and spoiling everything. And at the end of the day, the place dies off. That's the reason why most industries are not growing. I'm not talking about the media industry. It's applicable in every sector of the industry. Even in government, people that are not fit to be in position, that the ones there, the ones that can do the job are not there. And now you see that most intellectuals, the intelligent, check out the people that are leaving the country. They are the intelligent ones who, once they get any opportunity, they leave because they feel like the environment is not conducive. So every opportunity, any opportunity they get, they go out to an environment that will maximize their potentials. Then you see I'm talking about, just check people where they travel out. Just check people where they travel out. When they get there, you ask the question, why is that when they travel out, the Nigerians, why do they excel? You see somebody that will not travel out before they don't excel. Why? Because the environment is conducive. They respect what you can deliver. They respect the work of your hands. They don't even look at your certificate. But in this place, somebody will just come say, just gas school. What I go to that certificates. I got on. And then they can't carry and can't put for head. How would that person lead? Okay, let me give one example. Like, I'm sorry to say this, but I have to say this. Like, this one is a practical one in IBC. Somebody that is a driver. This guy, they drive well and has been doing this for years. Just because you feel this guy, it was alleged that sometimes he uses the car to pick passengers. It could be a lie. They yanked him off the job from him. They went to put driver as a cameraman. Cameraman can't shoot camera will go up. You can't frame camera go there like this. Now people at home will watch are like, what's wrong with this station? That is what is wrong with us. But sometimes you may never know this except when we're talking like this, and when we tell you this, you feel all is well. They'll say, okay, who is in charge? You say, he's the director of engineering, he's the director of this. You feel he knows everything. A lie. Then those people that are the subordinates that can deliver, they'll not be frustrating them. You know why? They're frustrating them to leave the system so that they can nobody will know, how bad they are in that area. So they'll frustrate you, so you leave the system. So that's why people are leaving from station to station, not about the money, but because of welfare and how they're being treated.